Hello and good morning. My name is Ahmad Din Hakim bin Abdullah Tamin, and I'm here to present a speech about Land of the Rising Sun, also known as Japan. Japan is a place known for the exotic culture, unique style of animation, and being one of the most advanced countries in Asia in science and technology. Japan, also known as the country filled with volcanoes and beautiful scenery, it is also filled with Japanese people who speak such a cool language system, have a long history of their country, and have a good taste in food. And in this speech, I'm going to talk about this stuff, which include history of the language, Japanese festivities, and Japanese cuisines. With that, we will start off by briefly explaining the history of how the Japanese language has formed over the history. The Japanese language does not resemble or take after the Chinese language, although many people might assume that that's the case. But most of the kanji words, if we've ever seen a Japanese word, might have resemblance to the Chinese language because it is derived from the Chinese language. Japanese language has been an evolving language for 2,000 years. It is said that during the 3rd to 4th century, the kanji has started to flow along the vocabulary of Japanese. Around the 7th century, the Japanese has finally invented their own hiragana and katakana, which are syllables, Japanese syllables. Hiragana and katakana are way easier to learn than kanji, and it will be a big help if you are traveling to Japan or just going to be an easy learner of the language. So there's no need to go through the hassle of learning kanji. Now that we've known or learned some of the Japanese language history, we should also get to know about their more interesting parts, which is their festivities. The Japanese has many celebrations all over the year for so many occasions, such as religious and seasonal events. For example, Japanese people celebrate the descent of the snow just like the Western who celebrate Christmas. The Japanese has a festival called the Sapporo Snow Festival, which is one of the most popular event during winter. A small bit of the history of this event is that some high school students decided that they would build snow statues in the local park, and since then it has become developed into a huge cultural event which features ice sculptures, and now so many people around the world join this activity and compete by making their own ice sculpture. Japanese also celebrate things that we consider quite exotic. And what I mean by exotic, for an instance, let's talk about the Japanese infamous Kanamara Festival, also known as the Penis Festival. Although, aside from its inappropriate name, the origin of the tale is of a goddess giving birth to a fire god, fire deity, which, fire, it caused injury to her lower half of her body. And so two kind deities saw this and decided to heal her from the injury, leading people to worship or seeking help with the praying to these deities in hopes of fertility and safe childbirth for their blessing. Now after we talk about all that stuff, we have finished with the lengthy explanation about the festival. Let's talk food. For Japanese food and drinks, or should I say cuisines, are so exceptional, and there might be a reason. I might think I know what the reason is. The main idea is that in most Japanese food, we know there is a certain taste called umami. Umami taste is a distinctive and subtle taste which blends in with other tastes to expand the flavor of the food. So the common foods that we relate to this umami taste, we for example, meat, fish, soy sauce, and seafood. And this also explains why sushi tastes so good, because it consists of all these things that I mentioned: meat, fish, soy sauce, seafood. Even the most simple ingredients, like, as I said, the most simple ingredients like rice in sushi, seafood, or sometimes even a bowl of miso soup, it can bring out some of the best flavors in their cuisines. So as an island, as a nation which is built in an island, Japan is an island. The Japanese also take good pride in their seafood, which is why, as we see, some of their cuisines consist of sushi, tempura, and as such. Alright, with that, we have now covered all the knowledge that I have known regarding the topic, or research regarding the topic. To summarize this, there are three main things that we've learned in these past few minutes. To recap, which are the history of Japanese language, Japanese festivities, and their cuisines. That's it. If you ever had the chance to go to Japan, would you take it? Because I would, and I've always wanted to go to Japan. So if you ever had a ticket or bought a ticket to Japan, don't forget to buy one from me. Alright, that's all. Thank you.